So you want to train your brain to do hard things like studying, building a business, cleaning your room, or finally opening that book you bought 7 months ago to change your life. But instead of doing any of that, you're watching a video about doing it. Again, let me guess. You told yourself you'd start in 5 minutes, 2 hours ago. Then you cleaned your desktop, arranged your icons, and Googled, why am I lazy? Like it's a disease. Here's the truth. You're not lazy. Your brain just thinks you're being dumb every time you try to do hard stuff because it learned that easy equals reward and hard equals pain. So every time you sit down to do something serious, your brain screams, this is a trap, abort mission, open Instagram. But there's a fix. And no, it's not cold showers or motivational quotes. It's called the Lotus Method. And it's the only trick that actually forces your brain to stop sabotaging itself. Let me explain. Let's get one thing straight. Your brain doesn't care about your goal. It only cares about comfort and survival. So when you sit down to do something hard, like studying for 30 minutes or editing that video you've been procrastinating on 2 weeks, your brain treats it like you're about to fight a lion. We could die if we focus too long. Let's scroll TikTok instead. It's safer. That's why productivity hacks usually don't work, because they assume your brain wants to cooperate. It doesn't. And here's where the Lotus Method comes in. No, it's not a meditation thing. And no, you don't have to sit like Buddha under a tree. It's actually stupidly simple. You give your brain a fake reward for starting, not finishing, starting. Let's say you need to study math. Boring. Brain says no, but instead of saying, I'll study for 3 hours, you say, I'll just open the book and read one sentence. That's it. That's the Lotus Method. It's the lowest effort version of the hard, like pressing a light switch. So easy. Your brain can't say no. And once you're in, surprise, you keep going. Because momentum is a scam. You don't build momentum. You trick your brain into accidentally building it. That's why starting is 90% of productivity. Not focus, not motivation, not caffeine. Starting. Let's try this with literally anything. Want to go to the gym? Just put on your gym shoes. That's it. No reps, no weights, no commitment. Your brain says, okay, fine. But now you're already standing. Guess what comes next? Need to write an assignment? Open the document. Write one word. Doesn't even have to make sense. Just click the page. Boom, you're in. Side hustle? Open the app. Tap one button. Start something. Anything. Once you've taken the first step, your brain wants to finish the puzzle. It's not motivation. It's momentum disguised as laziness. Great. Now let's dive into how the Lotus Method hijacks your brain's dopamine system without you even realizing it. Your brain doesn't actually want to do hard things. It wants dopamine. That's the only thing it truly chases. Scroll your phone, dopamine. Eat cake, dopamine. Binge. 6 YouTube videos about how to be productive. Yup, dopamine. But here's the cheat code. You can give it dopamine for doing hard things, even tiny hard things. That's where the Lotus Method flips the game. Instead of waiting for motivation, it rewards just the first micro act. Need to study? Don't open the book. Open the bookmark. Dopamine hit. Now your brain is curious. Need to run? Put your water bottle near the door. Brain says, hey, we're doing something. Another dopamine hit. Now you feel like finishing it. It's not a productivity hack. It's neurochemical blackmail. You trick your brain into starting, and once it starts, it can't stop chasing the next hit. This isn't theory. It's literally how addiction works. But now you're addicted to progress. Awesome. Now that your brain is chasing progress like it's chasing a dopamine slot machine, let's turn this into a full-blown system. Here's the real power of the Lotus Method. Every time you do something hard, not finish it, just start it, you plant a lotus seed. And if you do this once a day for multiple habits, you start growing what's called the lotus loop. Example, day 1, open laptop, type one sentence, done. Day 2, open gym bag, tie shoelaces, done. Day 3, set alarm for 7 a.m. Don't even need to wake up, done. Your brain gets addicted to these fake wins. But here's the kicker. They become real habit because they start requiring less energy to begin. Each tiny action links to the next. Just like a lotus blooms from the mud, your habits bloom from these dirty little tricks. And over time, your brain doesn't even wait for motivation anymore. It just starts doing. You've now forced your brain into becoming productive without it even realizing it's being tricked. Scenario 1, studying or work projects. Don't open your book and try to finish a full chapter. Just open the page and read the first sentence out loud. That's your lotus. That's your win. Your brain says, that wasn't so bad, and now it's already in motion. Scenario 2, working out. Don't aim for 45 minutes in the gym. Just put on your gym clothes. That's it. 90% of the time, you'll end up going. Because your brain hates incomplete action. It will finish what you started. Automatic. Scenario 3, talking to someone. Want to text your crush, friend, or boss? Don't draft a full message. Just open the chat and type, hey, then close it. That's your seat. You'll come back to it. And when you do, you'll be twice as confident. The goal isn't to finish big things. It's to make starting too easy to fail. Do this daily, and your brain becomes a lotus machine, automatically starting hard things before your excuses can catch up. If you want to rewire your brain's resistance permanently, stick around, because we're going even deeper. Here's how to go beyond the Lotus Method and make your brain addicted to doing hard things automatically. The secret? It's not willpower. It's reward loops. Your brain is a pattern matching machine. When it notices that every time you open a book, you feel better afterward, it starts craving that feeling before you even open the book. This is how habits form. Not from motivation, but from cause and effect. Action arrow, reward, arrow repeat. So here's how to make hard tasks feel like dopamine hits. Number 1, pair your lotus with a tiny reward. Read one page, take a sip of cold juice, open the laptop, play 10 seconds of your favorite song, write 10 words, fist bump yourself, literally. Number 2, create visible streaks, habit tracker, calendar, sticky note. Humans hate breaking streaks. You'll keep going just to not ruin the chat. Number 3, brag to yourself. Seriously, make a private story on Instagram. Title it Beast Mode Only. Every time you do something hard, post a 3-second update. You'll trick yourself into being consistent because no one wants to be the clown who quits on day 3. You don't need to be born disciplined. You just need a system that makes your brain brain thinks hard things equals good feelings. And that's how you go from procrastinating everything to enjoying the grind. If you're ready, I'll show you exactly what not to do, because there's one trap that ruins all. Here's the number one trap that destroys people trying to build discipline. They try to do too much, too fast. It's called the motivation spike crash. You feel inspired, you write a 12-step productivity plan. You stick to it for one day, then crash, burn, disappear. Why? Because discipline is like a muscle. If you've never lifted before, you don't start with 100 kilos. You start with what you can do repeatedly, even if it's tiny, especially if it's tiny. That's why the Lotus method works, because you train yourself to take action without needing motivation. So instead of planning to study 4 hours every day, start with open the book and read one sentence. Stand up and touch the table where I study. Open Google Docs and type one word. That's it. And once you start, you'll usually keep going. But here's the part no one tells you. Even this system fails if your environment is rigged against you. Here's how to force your brain to obey by simply changing the battlefield. Because the real reason most people fail isn't lack of motivation. It's proximity to distraction. You can't expect to win a war against your brain if you're fighting it on the enemy's home turf. Example, you want to study, but your phone is on the table. Notifications ding. You check just for a second. 20 minutes later, you're watching a guy deep fry a shoe. That's not because you're weak. It's because your brain is wired to follow the path of least resistance. The Lotus method says, don't rely on willpower. Redesign your environment. Want to wake up early? Put your alarm across the room. Want to focus? Turn on sight blockers and keep your phone in another room. Want to write daily? Open a blank doc before bed so it's the first thing you see. Change the setup and you'll change the result. Now let's add the final piece, the reward loop that makes discipline automatic. Here's how you build unstoppable discipline without burning out or becoming a productivity zombie. The Lotus method uses tiny instant rewards to trick your brain into craving hard things. Because here's a fact no one tells you. Your brain doesn't care what you're doing. It just wants dopamine, the feel-good chemical. That's why you scroll for hours. Every swipe, every like, every new post equals dopamine. But here's the trick. You can hijack that system. Example, after every deep work session, give yourself a 5-minute dopamine hit. Not 30 minutes, not a full break, just enough to say, hey brain, you did good. That could be a funny meme, a walk in the sun, a square of chocolate, even checking your favorite subreddit. Pair that with the hard task and your brain will start wanting the work. Over time, the loop becomes automatic. Do the hard thing, get the hit, repeat. This isn't theory. It's how elite performers train their focus. And now that you've redesigned your environment and rewired your reward system, let's talk about the final block, how to keep going when it feels pointless. Here's the truth no one likes to hear. You won't feel motivated every day. You'll have weeks where progress feels invisible and your brain screams, what's the point? This is where 99% of people quit. But here's what the 1% know. Motivation is a terrible master. So instead of chasing feelings, you build something better. Systems. Systems don't care how you feel. They run on autopilot. You brush your teeth every day, not because you're motivated, but because it's a system. Want to get smarter? System. Read 10 pages a day. Want to build muscle? System. Go to the gym at 6 p.m. No debate. Want to stop being a slave to your phone? System. No scrolling until noon. Each tiny system is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming. Miss a day? Doesn't matter. The system is still there, waiting. And once you combine all three, a low resistance environment, instant rewards, and systems instead of motivation, you don't just do hard things. You become the kind of person who thrives on them. That's how you force your brain to do hard things. Without relying on motivation, you trick it, reward it, and repeat until it becomes automatic. And if you want your brain to keep getting sharper every week, even while everyone else is stuck scrolling, smash that like button so this shows up next time you need it. Comment Lotus if you're ready to rewire your brain. Share this with someone who's one good system away from changing their life. And before you go, I'm collecting donations in the form of subscribes to fund the next video. Hit it now, or your brain will forget everything you just learned.